Hello?
This is Mrs. Adelson. Is this Sammy? Sammy? Okay. My grandchildren had my phone before. So I'm
Miss Adelson?
I'm Mrs. Adelson.
Yes.
My grandchildren had my phone before. So that's it. And I just saw that you had called.
Oh, okay. You left a message on my voicemail.
Right. I did. This is my problem. You approached me on Alton Road. You handed me an article from the newspaper about my ex-son-in-law. You told me I need to call you and help your friend who is in prison. Now, at the time you did that, I didn't understand what you were talking about. I didn't call you back. Then you mailed me a threatening letter. Then you send me a text message to my phone that says, I'm not taking you seriously. So I am taking you seriously. And I really want you to listen to me. Listen. I have to tell you, this is important. I have been so stressed out. I have spoken to 10 or 12 people who are close friends of mine, telling them about this and basically picking their brains and asking them, what should I do? Because I don't know your friend who is in jail. I don't. You mentioned a name. I don't even know his name. I never spoke to him. I don't know what he looks like. I never met him. I'm sorry your friend's in jail, but I don't know what this has to do with me.
You know exactly what it has to do with you. You know exactly what. Listen to me carefully. Listen to me. Listen to me. You just got to listen to me.
You need to ask your friend who this person looks like, what their name is, something, because I know there's a big reward out there. And if you need money for your friend, that's the way to get it. I'm asking you nicely. I don't know who he is. I am out of the loop. It is not me. If I can help, I would help. That's what I...
Just like I told you, listen to me. Just like I told you that day, we know that your family had a problem up north. We know that problem was taken care of about 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And we know that Katie has been taken care of and has been taken care of. Now my brother in jail, we were in Broward together. He told me the whole thing, and he hasn't been taken care of. You know, now all that's being asked for is $5,000. That's all we're asking for is for the $5,000. And he told me everything, and I know everything. I know who's involved. I know everything, and I'll get that $100,000 for myself. All I ask is to send the $5,000. Everybody knows what's going on.
I don't. You're saying everyone knows. I know I lost my ex-son-in-law. I did not have anything to do with it. That's why I said, ask him what...
That's what not my brother Tato told me. He told me everything when we were in jail. He told me everything. And who was involved? I know everything.
Well, I don't. That's the problem. I am telling you, it's not me. It's not me. I have had a year of aggravation. A year and a half of aggravation over this. My daughter, my grandchildren, it is not me. And when I asked my friends, what did they think? They said, well, this person needs to get a description of you because of what you look like, or it's not me. I don't know who caused this. It wasn't me. I mean, I don't know.
Just like that day when I talked to you. This is not going away. This is not gonna away. Tato told me everything. He wasn't being taken care of. He needed the 5K. Send the 5K. That's all. That's all we're asking for.
Well, I don't know who Tato is. You don't understand.
We know you don't know who Tato is. But you know who Katie is. And you know the contacts Katie has and she has. Listen to me. Let's stop fucking around. Let's stop fucking around, okay? You know who Katie is. And you know that Katie has somebody that knows Tato, and they took care of the problem for you people. That's just the bottom line. The bottom line is you know who the fuck Katie is.
Look, I don't.
No more, Mr. No, I'm not fucking around. And I'm not fucking around with you. You know who Katie is. You know that they took care of Katie and her people. Nobody's taking care of Tato.
No, I don't know.
I know you know who Tato is, but we know who all of you are, and this ain't going away.
You know what?
So I can give you that you want then the 5K.
Here's what you need to do. You need to go.
Don't tell me what to do. I know what to do, and I'm doing it.
You're looking to get for money. Get $100,000 or whatever the reward is. It isn't me. You have got the wrong person. That's why I said, ask your friend.
You're Donna. You're Donna Adelson.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Well, I know. We know who's involved in all this.
This is not anything. I mean, if you want the money, you should get it from the police. They can give you a whole lot more than you're asking me for money for someone. I can't do this. I have had too much stress and too much aggravation from this, and I don't know what you are talking about. I just don't know.
Really, I think you should talk to Katie. Talk to people that are involved in this. You know who you know what's going on.
That's why I'm telling
you. You can tell me all you fucking want, but you know because I heard when I was locked up in Broward with my brother, and he told me everything. Well, he told me everything.
But then
I just want to take care of them because fucking Katie was being taken care of with her fucking tuto.
I just think instead of asking me, you should get the money from the police. There's a lot of money out there, and I know if you think you know who this is, then go ahead and do it, because I know it isn't me. And I can't take this kind of level of stress. I just can't. I know I didn't do anything.
Talk to you. Talk to people. Tell you. Talk to the right people. You talk to people and you make this 5K come to me. That's all I need. Just do it and get it to me. Do it and get it to me.
I'll call you.
Bye.
Okay, so that's it. That's the phone call.
I felt so bad, basically cursing at you of all people, like the nicest person ever.
No, that was good because you sounded about as convincing as the FBI agent. Latin
tough, but not too tough.
Huh?
Tough, but not quite Latin Kings tough.
Yeah,
sure.
Because did you watch that STS episode last week when they had a real Latin King gang member?
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, and I could barely understand the guy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was intimidating too.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what is that guy saying? God, he was like totally slurring his words the whole time. So.
I love your shades.
Yeah, I don't know. Keep it on or take them off.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where did you get the shirt?
Oh, I bought the shirt at a thrift store for probably just a few dollars, and then I painted it.
Oh, it's so accurate.
Yeah, well, the black needs to be redone because it's getting a little faded.
You've got it, though. I mean, that's the color scheme.
Yeah, but now she's not wearing this outfit anymore. So,
how things expedited. I mean, wow. Last time we talked, Charlie was in jail and he hadn't been convicted yet. You and I were just discussing the case, I believe.
Yeah.
And so now she's in jail.
I know. It was a great day because that was the day I emailed you and I said I was so frustrated that Donna still hasn't been arrested. And then bam, that night I was like, oh my God, I got the text from Fancy Fiction and everybody started texting each other.
You sent the email wishing into existence Donna Adelson's arrest because like 30 minutes later she was arrested.
Yeah, because I was just like, when is that lady finally gonna get arrested?
Thank God. And how fitting. They're both sitting in that same miserable jail, probably yards from each other. I mean, I don't know how far apart the women and the men are segregated from each other, but can't be more than a couple hundred yards of that. Mm-hmm. Oh, what horrible life decisions they made. And it's just, thank God we're getting justice. My goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Justice for Dan Markel.
They're all stuck in Tallahassee now. And
yes.
Yeah. Isn't that kind of just desserts there? Well, how's the media going? Like
going well, yeah.
Where you are. Like,
yeah, I mean,
is there news?
I don't really watch the local news, but the online news seems to be covering it more than I ever saw before. Mm-hmm. They love seeing a grandma in jail.
Yeah, that's true.
When you think about it, how often do we see this? I think it was Jury Trial Mentor that was just like, you just don't see this age of people going into the prison system under these sorts of charges ever. I mean, it's quite a rarity.
Yeah. Well, usually people want to live the rest of their lives comfortably,
right?
Committing crimes and ending their lives on this note. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Yeah. So, were you watching the whole trial?
I've watched. Yeah, I've definitely watched all of it. I had planned to go up there on the Tuesday, the second Tuesday, which I believe the first Monday was the trial selection or the selection of the jurors. But I just wasn't able to work it out. But hopefully when Donna's up there, I wonder how similar the whole case and everything, the whole setup will be when we have Donna up there actually going through the whole due process of, I guess she'll call for a jury trial.
Yeah. So I think so. Yeah.
So it'll be like a whole repeat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, some of the lawyers are basically opining that they don't think Donna's going to last long enough to have a trial. So I don't know.
I wonder I wonder if she would actually just like stop eating or something like that. I mean,
Well, that's what. Now I don't want to attribute things to the wrong people, but
right.
somebody said today that he heard Donna wasn't eating in the jail and was causing a ruckus or something in the jail. I don't know. That seems like her, right?
Would they force feed them or put them on IV liquids to calm them down?
That's what
And
Joel asked. Like, was it Joel? I'm getting everybody totally
yeah,
mixed
yeah.
up because
Well,
there's
there's
so
so
much
many
talk and
videos.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think in very
understandable.
dire situations they might force feed the prisoners,
Right.
but I think Tim said first they would probably just monitor the person just
Hmm.
to see, how much the person is actually eating. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and the fact that she may not be getting all the medication that she was getting. I'm not sure what medication is considered,
Vital.
necessary. And I mean, they were
Yeah.
talking about just antidepressants or psych meds. I mean, if they take her off of that, that is going to be a rough go and could probably kill her appetite in and of itself.
Oh, okay.
So,
Yeah. Well, I'm not medically trained, but it
me
does
either.
seem like at a jail, they don't seem to have as much medical care.
Hmm.
So it's
Right.
basically just like a holding place.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's not on the cutting edge of medical technology for them.
Yeah. So where were you when you found out about Charlie's guilty verdict?
I saw Fancy's tweet.
Mhm.
Where was I? I think I was, I mean, to be honest, upgrading this IBM PS1 Consultant Retro 486 computer that I have. I think I was upgrading. I was putting a CD-ROM drive into it. As boring and nerdy as that sounds, it was like an early '90s computer that I got. I've been restoring it, so
Oh,
I saw Fancy tweeted, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Almost fell out of the seat.
mhm.
And you had just willed it into existence with that email. So what were you doing? Just
Yeah.
waiting for it to happen?
Oh, well, where was I when Charlie got convicted? Geez. Now I can't even remember. Where was I? Was I at home or was I back in the
Oh,
office?
when you asked that question, I thought you were
Yeah.
asking about
Oh
Donna.
no, about
Donna
Charlie's
news.
conviction.
Oh, the
It seems like
Charlie.
ages ago, right?
Oh, right. The Charlie conviction. I was standing in front of my TV, like in shock. I was ready for it. I had the
Yeah.
volume turned up so loud while it was on the jury watch. So the
Mhm.
second that mic came on, it was like the whole house was blasted with audio because I had it turned up so loud. And I
Yeah.
ran out, and yes, wow.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I kind of predicted that he was going to be found guilty just because it happened so soon after the jury,
Oh
went
yeah.
on.
Oh, he knew he was screwed. But they
Yeah.
ate lunch, and it was 3 hours, and they removed his tie, which
Yeah.
someone said that the bailiff like listens in through the door, and if they overhear that the jurors have come to some certainty and a decision, that they'll inform the judge and go ahead and remove the belt and the tie. That was interesting.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Someone said that he actually sort of started crying a little bit
Poor
before he
baby.
sat down. Yeah. Well, too bad. I mean, think of what poor Dan had to go through. So
Mhm.
I don't feel sorry for him. Poor Donna.
Charlie, like the breath coming out of him and him just like lowering his head is like the best GIF ever. Just
Hmm.
watching him, oh, it's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, that's why I made multiple shorts about it because I was like, "Ooh, this is good with one song. This is good for a different song."
Yes.
And like some people are mad because they're like, "Well, why'd you make these shorts? This is can't you be more professional?" I'm like, "This is actually a great moment. You should be happy that this guy finally got convicted
Right.
after enjoying his life, just
For sure.
relishing
No, I
his
love your song selections in those.
yeah, thank you.
They're very fitting.
Yeah. Well, let me show you guys some stuff real fast that I thought might be sort of interesting. Um, in the court file, you can see these receipts from people who actually paid Charlie's court costs. So I'm just kind of confused because this is public record. It says
Right.
these people, Benjamin Evans, paid for Charlie's court copies or random miscellaneous charges here. I mean, it's not much, but I was just wondering who
Benjamin Evans.
Yeah, so who's that? So let's remove that. There's another one paid by somebody else. So maybe somebody can tell us, who are these people? Are they
Maybe
paying
one of
bills?
Wendy's henchmen. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe, see, this is from Christopher Hush. So why are these people paying his bills?
Hush. They almost sound like fake names, but I guess it wouldn't be a fake name if it's a court record.
Yeah.
I think they verified these people.
I don't know, because I was thinking, well, maybe it could potentially be somebody who works for his lawyer's firm. It could be, yeah. So
like a paralegal.
Or whoever's in charge of billing, finance.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So just thought it would be worth to show that, just in case somebody knows why these people are paying his bills. So, okay. So did you hear the latest news about the friend who basically turned in Harvey and Donna to the attorney's office? Oh,
wow.
So, okay, I guess I'm totally addicted because I watched STS this morning, or whenever they did it. I watched STS, I watched Mentor Lawyer, I watched Carl's live streams. It's just like overwhelming. There's
so much good coverage too. You included. Yeah. It's all just A rank coverage. I mean, it's great.
Yeah. So see, I did see that, but I mean, why would he? It could just be somebody with the same name. So I don't want to just say like, hey, it's some newscaster in Southern Florida who paid his bills. It could just be some random guy with the same name. So, anyway, the juicy news from STS this morning said that there was a friend of Charlie's who reported to the state attorney's office that Harvey and Donna had called this person and said they're going to the Philippines. They wanted to go to the Philippines through November 20th. So that's a total lie, right? Because they really got plane tickets one way to Vietnam, and there was no talk about them coming back. So this I found really weird. Like, why would they call up this friend of Charlie's and say they want to go to the Philippines? They need flight and hotel tips.
So that's like a red herring, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder if they're just playing games with this person. And honestly, supposedly,
this must have been the easiest FBI arrest in the history of the FBI, because I mean, come on, at least make it a round trip. At least try. I mean,
don't talk about it. Don't talk about it on the phone.
Don't talk about it on the. Literally, it says we're recording this message. I mean, what was she thinking? It's almost like she wanted to be in some subconscious level. I just don't understand. Like I said, it's like the worst. It's like they sat down and said, "Let's come up with the worst possible plan to escape." Miami. Let's go to Miami International Airport. Let's not try to, because you've got money, you could probably do stuff, pay for a private plane or a helicopter ride, someplace like Cuba.
Someone said, do you still need a passport even if you take a private plane? Like, is there a record of it?
Probably depends on the pilot. If you could find somebody sketchy enough and you've got the money, it probably doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or some people said they should have just like taken some shady boat, to Cuba.
Yes, definitely. Anything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's the worst timing ever. I mean, I don't want to say, I think, what I would have done if I were her, but damn, she should have been doing this months ago. I would have
Yeah.
crawled out in the middle of the night, like on my hands and knees,
Yeah.
covered in black paint or something.
Yeah, like hire a coyote to take her across to Mexico or something. I guess
Exactly.
they still wanted to be in their cushy digs. They couldn't
Right.
stand to
Oh, right.
go over the border to Mexico. Yeah, but getting back to this friend, okay, so people have called me a gossip in the past or said Judy seems like a real gossipy person. Well, people like hearing news. To me, it's information.
Right,
So
right.
I'll just go ahead and say it. So according to the guys on STS, they said that this person who was a friend of Charlie's also was told by Harvey, don't tell Charlie about this. So then the friend started thinking, well, something's up. They're planning on leaving the country. So the friend called the state attorney's office to report this. So big thanks to this friend who did the right thing and contacted the right people to give them a heads up that look, the Adelsons are planning on leaving,
right.
whether they're going to the Philippines or Vietnam or whatever. But here's who I suspect this person is. And this is thanks to True Lifestyles, because long time ago, she was already looking at Charlie's jail phone calls. And one of the people that he called regularly all the time, not as much as Donna, but seemed like almost every day, was this Filipino woman who's a therapist. So her name is Janice, not going to say her last name, but her name has been floating around. So I suspect it's probably that person, because supposedly this family friend had not talked to Harvey or Donna for, say, more than 5 minutes in the past 10 years. Wow. So she thought it was really, or this person thought it was weird that Harvey and Donna would be suddenly calling and asking these weird questions about going to the Philippines.
Seems like smoke and mirrors, trying to somehow conceal what they're doing or what their real intentions are, but it's like a really crappy attempt. It's like the least clever attempt ever. I mean, they're so, they thought they could get away with this whole, utter tragedy with Dan Markel. Of course, they're going to think they can get away with this. They just thought they were too smart. Donna and Charlie thought they were too smart for everyone. And that goes right up until the end here with Donna's utter failure of an attempt to leave.
Okay, thanks for this info. So La Belle Vie has the updated warrant, probable cause arrest affidavit with the Philippines info. Yeah, so who knows? Maybe Donna and Harvey were still wishy-washy, thinking, well, maybe we should go to the Philippines instead of Vietnam, or we'll hop to Vietnam and then figure out a way to disappear in the Philippines.
Right.
Charlie clearly had multiple visits to those places.
Yes, I remember the video, Fancy Fiction's short video of him sitting there acting like a creep in that weird scenario that he's in with the two women just staring at him with his feet, and like the little minnows are like eating his feet, or the dead skin.
Oh, the fish
Yes.
pictures?
It's like a 5 second or 10-second video clip that Fancy has, and it's Charlie just sitting there acting like the weirdo that he is.
Well, that's weird, because I thought I saw a picture on June's Facebook a long time ago where she and Charlie were also in one of those like fish tank, whatever, pedicure, massage things, but I thought that was on the trip to Mexico.
Yes.
So I guess he likes that kind of stuff.
Like
fish pedicure, fish spa.
Right. It's a whole creepy scenario. There's someone else in the like fish bowl with him with their feet in there as well. So
gross. That sounds really gross.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's see. Thank you guys for being there. I think they wanted to confuse the authorities. By the 20th, they would have already been in Vietnam. They also told Charlie's friend not to tell Charlie. Charlie already knew about Vietnam. Yeah, it's just so weird. It's like, what are they doing? What were they thinking? Was it all just a ruse because they knew the friend would tell Charlie?
I think so.
I don't know.
It
Yeah,
was like a
so
thinly
weird.
veiled
Mind
red
games.
herring, like a red herring. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Lady Cymbeline. Vietnam, Philippines, only separated by the South China Sea. Donna and Harvey could have easily posed as tourists and paid in cash for a private boat. Okay, thank you. I've actually never been to either country. Let's see. I thought Donna and Harvey were going to get off in Dubai. No, they were supposed to go to Vietnam. Yeah, I haven't heard about Israel. Yeah. Somehow I felt they want to go to Israel.
No, extradition would probably be really easy in Israel.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it looks like this person saw the clip you're talking about. He seemed very awkward.
It's the most awkward clip. He's like caught off guard. He just seems as guilty as always. And another interesting note, I'm quite sure he's in the Philippines, but he says big trouble in Little China. Like, how dumb are you? Why?
Yeah, what a fool. Yeah, I did see that on Fancy's, was it Patreon or something?
Maybe her Patreon. The whole thing is just so cringe.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's so just skeezy.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what people have said, that he seemed like a overgrown frat boy.
Right.
Like he still seemed like a teenager, even when he was in his late 30s.
Oh, God knows what else was going on while he was there.
Yeah. Okay. This is funny. Vietnamese paella is followed by banana bread as dessert. Yeah, now there's even more like food associations with this crazy case. Yeah, remember Wendi with her oatmeal, where she kept talking about. Well, it was weird because I think she wasn't that at the police interview where Wendi started talking about her whole delicious lunch, and then she was talking about how for breakfast she was just stirring her oatmeal. I'm like, what the hell's wrong with you? You're at a police interview. Your ex-husband has just been shot. He's dying in the hospital, and here you are sitting there like smiling, yucking it up, and then talking about your stupid oatmeal and your delicious lunch and
that's what
a skirt that looks like your skirt.
Yes, that's what she wants to do. She wants to eat. That's what people do when we're bored. You go to work in the first half of the day. What do your coworkers talk about? The whole discussion is constantly lunch, who's going to lunch, where we're going. It's because she's the same way. She was sitting in there bored and thinking about her oatmeal and obsessing over all the details instead of brainstorming what could have happened to Dan Markel.
Yeah. Well, she sort of brainstormed when she was throwing out ideas like Amy Adler's, ex-husband, and then later talking about Jeff after her friend brought him up. So.
But only after she mentioned her brother.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she was in it and she still is in it only to save her own butt. It's always going to be the case. I mean, she was in that intimidating scenario of an interrogation room, probably much more real than she anticipated it was going to be, assuming that she was involved. But she threw him under the bus in a split second to save her own butt, and she'll do it again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's probably laughing with duper's delight every day. So let me ask you your impressions of the trial. What do you think of Rashbaum's theory of extortion?
I mean, you got to come up with something. And I don't think he could have come up. I mean, the whole thing, there's just so many details. Just trying to wrap your head around it is annoying as hell. But I think Rashbaum was impressive. I don't think he personally could have done much more. I think Charlie Adelson could have done much more. He could have sold the scenario much more authentically rather than talking down to Georgia Kappelman, which he did on more than one occasion, just kind of snapping back to her with that condescending tone and overly confident voice. When he reeled her in on the date of that call, when he mentioned something about he quoted a specific wiretap, remember, and she's like, well, do you have that date? And he's like, oh, you want the date? And then she's like, well, yeah. And then he gives it to her. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's just so unlikable. I think Charlie could have done a much better job selling it. I mean, honestly, if the situation was real, if it really was a double extortion or whatever the whole nonsense defense was, his whole disposition would have been so much more frantic and scared and, and innocent and humble. So, yeah. And him laughing, sitting there smirking and laughing as Georgia lists off the words that Donna would refer to Dan Markel, the bad words, and Charlie Adelson is sitting there like a little third grader giggling to himself. I mean, no lawyer on this planet could have gotten him off at that point. I mean, the jurors had to have been just sitting there staring at him in complete awe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isn't it funny that at the very beginning, before the trial even started, when we saw that Post-it note Kate Myers showed to Charlie, where she told him, don't smile ever. And he continued to he couldn't help himself. It's just like Wendi, like they couldn't help their true selves showing during the trial, even though it made them look stupid and probably, made him look guiltier in front of the jury. He couldn't help himself, just like, laughing. And
I mean, you're really covering your face. Like it's that point that you literally can't stop, that you have to cover your whole face. That was just shocking. Mm-hmm. And I love talking about, media coverage of this, the videos of the body language, which I don't remember us having that many previously with, the Katie trial and the Katie retrial. But now with the Charlie trial, we've been inundated with all these expert YouTube videos of body language experts, and they are awesome. These men and women that are breaking down all the body language, especially of Wendi, her little expressions, her eyes, her breathing pattern. I mean, really interesting stuff that all seems very credible, and authentic to me. I mean, it all adds up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did watch a couple of those behavior panel YouTube videos.
Right.
I thought it was pretty interesting. And what was cool was that they were talking about blink rate, and how people have a baseline. Not everybody is the same, but they could tell that Wendy's blink rate started going up, or what was it, like the way her eyes would look, if you see
more the whites on the bottom,
probably more likely to be lying.
Yes.
I didn't know that, or just anything having to do with like the way you hold your fingers out when you're relaxed.
Oh yeah.
Hold your fingers closer together when you're probably lying or more stressed out or something. I had no idea.
Exactly. Yeah. But when they pointed out, it makes sense. The way that Wendi was reaching for the paperwork that Kappelman was giving her, the awkward way that she reached for it, almost like someone was handing her like a bomb or something. And the desperate way that Wendi tried to get eye contact from Georgia Kappelman. There was one or two times when Georgia Kappelman approached Wendi on the witness stand, and Wendi, you could tell, is so trying to get an eye contact with her, just something, and then she gives up. So clearly Georgia wasn't having it. She just dropped off whatever it was and walked away. But yeah, good stuff with the body language. I mean, one of them even detected that Wendi was like rubbing her thighs by the way that like her shoulders were going in a way that they said they
think she's rubbing her
under the table. She's like self-soothing.
Oh yeah,
by rubbing her thighs.
Yeah. They did mention like the way that you might hold your hands or do something, depending on your mood. Yeah.
This day and age, I mean, people are under a microscope. There's a lot of smart people out there observing, everything you do.
Yeah. Kind of makes you paranoid, thinking like, gosh, what kind of like subliminal messages could I be giving off, or giving off the wrong impression based on a little movement or tick, or where I put my arms, or my fingers are spread out or fingers clenched.
Well, thank goodness for you and I, we don't commit, crimes.
Yeah, we're not lying on the stand in court.
Yeah.
Well, so I know we're working backwards with the comments, so who knows if James is still here, but sorry, it was bleeding into his premiere. So I think this call was maybe May 6th. I don't know
Oh,
why
wow.
May 6th is sticking out in my head,
Mhm.
2016, but it was definitely at least a couple of weeks after the bump. And the bump was April 19th, 2016. So after the phone calls and stuff, that's when the FBI decided to send an anonymous letter to Harvey and Donna's address saying something like, my phone isn't ringing, something like that. What did they say? My phone isn't ringing, you need to call me, or something like that.
Mhm.
So then Donna called maybe 3 times total. I think
Right.
that's what Sanford said,
Mhm.
but she only talked to him this one time, which is what we just read.
Right.
Yeah.
And she spoke, what did she say? I've spoken with 10 or 12 of
Yeah,
my
right.
friends.
Why would she talk to 10 or 12 friends? You would think one of those dodos would have told her to call the police.
There was no 10 or 12. I wonder if she told a single person.
Yeah, call
besides
all your
the
friends
family.
and nobody tells you to call the police because this has to do with the death of Dan Markel, and don't you want to help solve it?
Man.
Aren't you scared that you're being threatened? Call the
Yes,
police.
right. And did you meet any of the agents up there?
Yes, yes.
Oh, nice.
I mean, I was so happy. I actually have a
so
picture
cool.
with him.
Nice.
Yeah, and he told me that he had seen my YouTube videos where my friend and I reenacted the bump. And he was like, oh, yeah, I already saw this, but I still pulled out my cell phone and we watched my YouTube video again.
I love it. No way.
In Jansen's office. Yeah, but he did say he didn't want us to share photos of him. Because,
No, sure.
it's still potentially dangerous for him.
Totally.
But he's retired. And he was just really cool. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's like the celebrities of the case are here.
Yes.
And Stephen Webster, who was Dan's last divorce attorney.
Right.
Stephen Webster was there. So I got to speak with him really briefly and just say thank you,
And Special Agent Sanford too?
He wasn't, I didn't see him there.
Okay.
Yeah, but the undercover agent was there. And let's see, Stephen Webster, Monica Jordan, John Steinbeck was there, Fancy.
I love it.
Katie Cool Lady, Ruth.
Man.
Yeah.
What a crew of awesome people.
Oh yeah, Steve Cohen, Joel Waldman.
Yes.
I'm sure I'm forgetting people. Yeah,
right.
It was really cool. So
we'll hope for part 2 with Donna.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll see. But everybody's saying it could still take at least a year before she gets to trial. Yeah.
And she survives, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I just really feel like she's got to get a different attorney because her attorney has, I'm pretty sure, no murder trial experience. I mean, look how that turned out for Rashbaum. Well, I think any attorney would have lost that anyway, but still, it's like, what? They can't find somebody else?
Yeah.
On that note, remember Chuck Collins? He's Luis Rivera's attorney.
Okay, yeah, vaguely from Miami, right?
Well, it's been a long time, but he was actually a guest on a live stream show with me.
Nice.
I think it was last summer. It was a long time ago when really nobody was watching.
Right.
So I reached out to him again, and he's willing to come back. So hopefully he'll be back on December 3rd.
Good deal. Props to him for, I mean, I don't know how much prodding Luis Rivera required to, just come clean, but I'm assuming his attorney probably had some hand in that, right?
Yeah, definitely. That the attorney saw the evidence and told him, basically that you could be the first one to get the best deal. And that's what happened for Luis. So Luis will probably be out in about 9 years.
Right.
Yeah. So, this is funny. Someone said you sounded more convincing than the FBI agent. Yeah, that wasn't too hard. Yeah, Donna's not joining the Thug Life. Yeah, this is funny. Thanks, you guys, for all your comments and laughing at us and stuff. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was the follow-up call after the bump. Thank you.
That bump worked so well. I mean, honestly, it was like so effective. I mean, they just followed suit exactly as was predicted. Donna calling and instantaneously calling Charlie.
And saying it involves the two of us, probably the two of us.
Probably the both of us.
Cool.
I mean, how obvious can you be? Even their code was obvious. Like, come up with a, I mean, it wasn't even really a code.
It's about 5.
Yeah. How long did you talk to this patient? About 8. Like, okay, we know you're talking about minutes. You don't have to speak code when you say 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And the whole thing just falls apart. The whole logic falls apart at the seams when you consider the fact that who did they think was tapping do they think the the Latin Kings have set up this crazy wiretap, where the Latin Kings are live listening to everything they're doing for months? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Thank you, Flower Goddess, for your support. Yeah.
So did John Lauro just say like peace to Wendi and now he's done with her, or what? Is he still representing her? Okay.
I'm assuming he's still representing her. He was there. And so this is thanks to Fancy Fiction. She had a source who overheard John Lauro telling Wendi outside the courtroom, just tell them you heard about this morning. So I don't know if that's true or not. It sounded credible, but someone told Fancy that. But
nice.
This I gotta tell you guys. So my younger sister is an attorney, and she absolutely refuses to be on my channel. And she hardly ever watches my channel either. But I was telling her about this whole case last week, and I told her about this extortion theory and how Wendi showed up on the stand and said, oh, the first time I heard about this extortion theory was just today in court or whatever. So my sister literally choked on her drink and started laughing because it sounded so stupid to her.
I love it.
Yeah, it's like these people live in an alternative universe. Do they really think people are going to believe all this BS and their fake acting? And Donna,
you'll have to get your sister on. Maybe you could get her on, but off screen.
Huh?
Maybe you could get your sister on your video, but off screen. So you just hear her, you two have a discussion about.
I don't know. Yeah, but she doesn't really care about this case. Like I had to fill her in on my whole trip to Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
Like whenever I try to talk to my friends or relatives about
their eyes just glaze over.
Yeah, their eyes glaze over. They just don't really care. I'm just like, fine. I guess I'll just have to talk to my YouTube friends about this case because nobody in my real world cares about it.
I am in the same boat. Trust me. So does she, I don't want to ask for specifics, but does she practice the same type of lawyer stuff?
She's an immigration attorney, but she's also transitioning to get a new job with a government agency. So yeah, but see, people were getting on Wendi's case because she claimed she didn't understand what contempt meant. But I don't think my sister would really understand what contempt means either because she only practiced immigration law.
So it means they arrest you, right? You're held in contempt.
Well, potentially, yeah, that you have violated a court order and the judge could potentially arrest you because you have basically violated the court's ruling or court order. So, but there could be potentially attorneys who do transactional work who don't go to the courthouse and they would be like, what do you mean? I guess it means something bad, but I don't really understand it. Yeah. So not that I'm defending Wendi.
I mean, I always assumed that it meant you're going to jail because you screwed up somehow in the court itself, either by lying or acting out of normal conduct.
Yeah, violating court order. So, okay, thank you guys for enjoying this. Okay, let's scroll down and see what questions. You have any other? Oh, so tell me how you felt about the witnesses at the trial.
I mean, honestly, I don't know who's writing this book to be adapted to a film, but if no one's going to do it, I'm going to do it soon enough because there's so many like Katie describing how Charlie first brought this up to her. I mean, if that's not an opening scene for a film, right after or right before the Halloween party.
Halloween party.
Oh my God. I mean, I don't want to say fitting, but of all the holidays to bring that subject up, it's Halloween. And the fact that it was, I believe it was October 30th that Katie was sitting on that stand, a few weeks ago. So it was about Halloween that she's telling us all Halloween, and she painted this picture. It's just so morbid and just so screwed up. But I like how Georgia Kappelman just basically eviscerated her so that Daniel Rashbaum really couldn't. She basically said, you've lied. I mean, she pounded her, which I thought was a great strategy. But, Katie was very matter of fact. But the other witnesses, I mean, Jeffrey Lacasse is always going to be like a star, like an all-star. I mean, those videos about the studying their behavioral clues and whatnot, they said that he's like the most congruent person up there. Like everything about him is just so baseline 100% of the time, no matter what they ask him. And not to mention his story has pretty much been identical for each of the 3 trials and police interviews. So always good to have him up there. It was interesting though how they brought him back and brought Wendi back, and I guess that was some sort of strategy on Georgia Kappelman's part to be able to eventually ask Wendi and Jeff about how she came to him and said, in fact, Charlie did reach out to finding out how much it was going to be. So I don't know how, because I thought it was my understanding that was not going to be allowed, but it seems like Georgia Kappelman somehow strategized a way to do it.
Yeah, because it was for impeachment purposes to counter Wendy's lie or what Wendi said. So then it was allowed for Jeff to contradict her and say, nope, this is what she told me.
Is that a common tactic?
I guess it could be, because then that's a way to get around the whole hearsay issue. So, yeah. But what really surprised me, though, was when Jeff talked more in detail about that blasted TV that got busted. This was the first time I heard about her having this busted, cheap TV for weeks before Dan was killed. Wow. And how weird she was about it. Like, why would she just keep refusing to get a new TV, refusing to get it repaired, and forcing him and the kids to watch a movie on the busted TV before, coincidentally, her TV repair appointment is that morning.
Made by Donna. Donna made that appointment.
I know, and it makes it even more, damning against Wendi, because it just didn't make any sense, especially if this was a cheap TV that Jeff said you would probably see in a dorm. It wasn't some expensive thing. So it makes no sense for her to be fussing over this TV. Mom had to make the appointment for her. She had to talk to Charlie for 18 to 19 minutes that morning about whether to fix the TV or to buy a new one. Give me a break.
What isn't she involved in? I mean, she's involved in every literal aspect of their lives. I mean, that's why I'm assuming why the oldest son was got the F out of there as soon as he could in life. Get away, is it Robbie or Rob, the oldest brother?
Rob. Robert.
He got the hell out of that house as soon as he could, it seems.
Yeah, good for him, being rid of the family.
Man, he just must be sitting back, just eating popcorn every night and watching these headlines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, well, I mean, it must be still emotionally stressful for him, because who knows if he still has any feelings for his dad or his mom. Who knows? But it did seem like there was a total break with the family years ago. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, what date was the TV broken? Yeah. So, I mean, she did have custody of the kids some of the dates that week that the TV was fixed. But here's another stupid, weird, suspicious thing. Charlie claimed that it was Lincoln who threw a remote control at the TV. I'm
Right.
like, really? How would you know this happened to your sister's TV back in 2014? Even she couldn't remember how exactly the TV got broken.
Right.
Charlie conveniently knows that it got broken by the younger kid, which meant that he was only like 3.5. And how does a 3.5-year-old throw a plastic remote control so hard at the TV that it cracks?
Yeah, I know. And Charlie, if you listen to the wiretaps, he doesn't care about those kids. Anytime those kids are brought up, he just sounds annoyed that Donna is, that there's a few seconds respite in his attention seeking from her. He's not listening to all the details about those boys. He just wants to be talking and lecturing the mom and listening to her talk about how great he is.
Yeah, he was always just so self-centered. He doesn't really ask like how the kid's doing or
no.
Yeah.
Right.
So and then he did call one of the kids like a fat ASS and told Donna to smack or spank or beat one of the kids or something.
Right. That was one of the phone calls where she was just constantly talking to the kids like they were demanding a lot of attention from her in the background. And you could tell it was pissing off Charlie.
Yeah, I'm sure he was resentful too, because he was resentful of Wendi, and then now these kids are taking up so much of his mom's time and the family money, and taking away from his attention.
Right.
Oh, by the way, do you want to tell people who you are? Because some people are probably wondering, who is this guest?
Who I am?
Who are you?
I'm Remy. I've been a fan of yours for quite some time now, and you're gracious enough to let me come on your show. So not too much. I'm pretty boring. So IT guy and do writing in my own time. So those are my two big things. So I've always been really into computers. So I was fortunate enough to get a career in it as well. So nice to be able to work in something that you enjoy. As I said earlier, I spend my time restoring computers from the 90s, so I'm pretty dorky about it.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I remember back in the days when having a Apple IIc or
Apple IIe,
and the dot matrix printer. And then there were only a couple of games you could play on the computer, like selling lemonade, a lemonade stand game, and then
Oregon Trail.
Oh, okay.
I actually have an Apple IIe as well. I have an Apple IIe because your viewers are like falling asleep right now, but Apple IIe was like my first computer. So back in the 80s. So it took me a long time to find one, but I did find one on Craigslist. So I now have an Apple IIe. So it's pretty awesome.
Oh, that's great. Okay. Well, can we tell the viewers where you are sort of located?
I am in Central Florida. So right in the heart of all the greatness down here.
So you're smack dab in Florida.
Smack dab in the middle of all this wonderful ignorance that's just so much truer than other places. No, but I've lived here my whole life. I grew up on a farm, on a potato farm until I was 11 and then moved to the city. So it's nice down here. A lot of people, and as I've said before, the bugs and the humidity aren't fun, but we do what we can.
Cool. And how did you even hear about the Dan Markel case?
Just watching true crime stuff, probably on the Law and Crime Network, that awesome YouTube channel that has like everything. And, just the lack of justice for so many years, it just pissed me off as the years went by. I just would Google at least once or twice a week Charlie Adelson and just hoping to see that he's finally freaking arrested. 2018, 2019, 20, COVID, and just kept on. I was obsessed. Could not believe that it took so long, but the state did it right. Catwoman did it right. She had her plan and she sure as hell executed it.
Yeah. And I'm just so glad that Dan's parents are still here to witness, movement in their son's case. Yeah.
And I know, did you hear Ruth Markel's interview on Court TV last week? Oh my God, when they asked her when her next visit to the grandchildren is, and she said it's in December.
Yeah.
and that she would come back on the show and let everyone know how that visit goes. I was loving it. I loved hearing her with that confidence in her voice. She was kind of chuckling when she said, I'll come back on and give us all a report. I love it. You love to hear it. Love seeing her smiling.
Yeah. I just wish that she could just have full access to the kids, though. We all know it's very, very controlled.
Right.
You know, there always has to be somebody else there. Wendy's there in the background, or Wendi and Wendy's friend. Somebody's there supervising them to make sure that the Markels don't say certain things to the kids.
Right. Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. We can only hope Wendy's next. You know, honestly, I think Wendy's at least going to get arrested and put through the system. I mean, I really do think she's at least going to get charged. I'm in the camp of jury trial mentor, the great Carl Steinbeck. I've got full confidence that she's at least going to be arrested and put through the system and at least tried and charged.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I do feel a little bit more optimistic after seeing more evidence that came out, because once again, it's like nobody knows for sure what evidence is out there.
Right.
Look at all this stuff that just came out at Charlie's trial about, you know, Wendy's text to Dan where she specifically asked, you know, are you going to be in town between, what was it, like July 14th to 18th? Or there was some text that she sent to him that I had never seen before. So that was flashed up on the screen, and the whole thing about Lacoste talking about the TV and the whole, you know, weird fuss over the TV being
I can't believe I forgot that. I mean, I'm gonna listen to that again now that you mention it. That was in Jeffrey Lacoste's while he was on the witness stand.
Okay. When he was being asked questions by Kapelman.
Okay.
Yeah,
I will listen to that again for sure, because I forgot that part, or else didn't detect it. That's definitely a new piece of information, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, someone said, you know, Georgia Kapelman's been using Wendi in all these cases kind of as like almost like a tool to help get these convictions. They've given her immunity and they use her to get these convictions, and they've used her successfully to get all these convictions, including her brother. It would make sense if Georgia Kapelman has a little bit of extra evidence that she's holding back, you know, waiting until the time is right, when it's Wendi that's, you know, on the stand in her own defense and not her brother or some other person.
Yeah.
Because it wouldn't make sense for them to bring out and reveal evidence about Wendi when they're using her like they have been for the past few cases.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so this was just like the prediction of my college friend, Cyril Yu, who is a prosecutor in California. So he predicted that they still need Wendi to testify, you know, at Charlie's trial, probably at Donna's trial, to give the background of the whole case. Like, how did this whole murder happen? You know, what was the motive of the family and stuff? So I just remember some people getting mad, you know, and saying like, you know, you're wrong, you know, what, you're just speculating. I was like, well, look, you know, this is my friend. He's been a prosecutor for like 22 years,
right? Like
a senior prosecutor. And he's saying, you know, you usually want the witness to talk about these things, to lay the background, instead of just saying, oh, guys, look at this divorce file.
Right.
So anyway. I mean, but of course, you know, it's all Monday morning quarterbacking, right? So we don't know for sure, you know, what exactly is going to happen with the case and stuff. So I try not to make 100% absolute statements.
Right.
Like, they're never going to go after Wendi for perjury. Wendi's never going to get arrested, or, you know, or I don't know.
Any absolutes.
Arrested, but first let's work on Donna first.
Yeah. And wow, how fast Donna came to us.
Yeah.
It was like she did it to herself. I mean, she literally did do it to herself. I wonder how much longer they had planned, because obviously it was
not much longer, because the grand jury was already going to meet Wednesday. So I assume even if she didn't try to flee to Vietnam, you know, I think they probably would have arrested her
on a one-way ticket.
Within a week, maybe. Yeah.
Good.
So what does this mean? Oregon Trail was my favorite. You got dysentery.
On the Oregon Trail game, the whole point of the game is to make it to, Oregon to get gold, and things happen to the party members like dysentery, and the game will just stop and say that one of your group members has gotten to dysentery or a broken leg, and then of course they die within like a minute. So it's pretty hardcore, but it's a wagon trail, so they try to make it authentic by including common injuries you would have on the wagon trail, dysentery being one of the most popular ones back in the 1800s.
Oh gosh. Well, speaking of that, that brings us back to Donna Adelson. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe I don't think they want someone like me playing Donna Adelson unless it's a comedy. If it's comedy, I'll do it.
Someone needs to go ahead and start casting everyone.
Well, don't you think like you could play Jeffrey Lacasse, or you could be Dan Markel?
Right. I don't look as
sort of.
I could maybe dye my hair like a reddish and do Jeffrey Lacasse for sure.
Yeah. Well, I thought his hair looked more reddish this time.
I love him. Oh, he's so believable. He's such a great witness.
Yeah.
You'd love to see him.
Exactly. Yeah, we hope he's doing okay. It's got to have been so stressful for the last 9+ years dealing with all this mess.
Right.
Not to mention people ragging on him or possible threats to him, potentially, people looking at him funny.
And I wonder if his college students ever bring it up, because he is a professor after all.
I don't know. Well, I do recall seeing that there was some student that left a negative review about him on one of those Rate Your Professor websites, but that happened to be around the time of the first trial. So I'm like, well, of course he's not all, attentive and happy and stuff, because he's stressed out because he has to be a witness at this horrible criminal trial where Charlie is still free and Wendi is still free. Who knows what they could have been doing to him.
Man. Yeah. And, I loved how Kappelman kept bringing up, "This Is Our Story," that stupid book Wendi Adelson wrote. I mean, how she's really going to try to deny. I mean, it's like it literally is FSU or NFSU. And I mean, there's like 1,900 similarities. Yeah.
Hiawassee Springs, and and the narrator is some sort of like a human rights attorney that works for the school or had a clinic or whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious that was based on herself.
Right, 108 ratings too. I mean, who's buying this book and really like rating it better than 1 star?
Yeah. Well, I guess money can buy you all sorts of PR people. Yeah.
It looks like at least the last like 10 or 12 ratings have all been 1 star. So.
Yeah. Oh, Matt is here. So Matt actually played Dan Markel in Mentor Warrior's little movie called The Hitman Option. So
awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody makes some sort of Netflix series or movie about it, I guess you and Matt can try out to play Dan Markel. Yeah. So, speaking of that, let's see. Oh, well, what did you think about the other witnesses, like the Adelson employees or Fitzgerald or June?
Yeah, June. I mean, how classic was June with the cell phone going off? I mean, if that was not the most fitting, like hilarious thing I've ever seen. She sits down and the phone alarm starts going off. But, I think June, she mentioned the stapled money and, she seemed to do about I don't know, some people went kind of hard on her, but yeah, I did watch June's again. And I think she probably could have done a little bit better with her memory, at least. I mean, but who knows? I don't know if June, this thing is probably so far out of her mind at this point, with the lifestyle that she lives and the things that she's into. Yeah. And what did she said? Happy birthday to Charlie, or?
Yeah, supposedly she said happy birthday, but there was someone in the courtroom who first told Fancy, I think, or yeah, this is like a game of telephone where somebody first heard it as "I hope you win," but then June got wind of that rumor and said, "No, I said happy birthday to him."
I did love True Lifestyle's video about June showing the receipts.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because actually, yeah, I have to admit, I was the person who had heard from a reliable source
Yeah.
who actually knew Charlie and June, and that person told me that Charlie had bought the condo for her back in 2020.
Right.
So, so then she flashed up photographs of her bank statement as well as some check from her parent.
Yeah, that deposit.
Her parents.
Let me get some of those deposits.
Yeah.
Man, one of them was like 100 and some thousand, right?
Well, I mean, I sort of believe her, even though some people are like, oh, well, Charlie could have given her money to her parents first. But I guess that's plausible. But on the other hand, her parents did sell the restaurant back in, I think, 2019.
Okay.
So, and a lot of these like Asian restaurant owners, they deal in cash and they hold cash too. And they like to pay for property in cash. So, I mean, I tend to believe June. So that's why ultimately I did edit out that part of my old live stream where I had mentioned that rumor. Yeah, but she was all mad and she left a couple of really long comments on my live stream show. And
you should have asked her to come on, or did you?
No, I wouldn't, because she's so controversial. I get the feeling that most of the people following this case do not like her, really.
Okay.
And plus, I also think that she wouldn't do it, and she would want tons of money. So
right.
It's okay.
I mean, her saying happy birthday, I bet the thought of that not really being a classy thing to do in that time and place of all places, I bet that thought didn't even cross her mind, honestly. That's my assumption here.
But she just wanted to say something to Charlie one last time and look good.
Float out of there and go back to her life.
Yeah. Well, good luck to her. She might have to, I think she would have to come back and testify if there is a trial.
Donna. And will we get that quote of Donna saying she feels like she feels like Dan Markel's haunting her
back
from the
grave, haunting them. So remember,
what a great quote.
Them, not her.
Yes, what a great quote. Them.
Yeah. So this is a nice thing that someone said. Ruth and Phil are amazing people. I admire your strength. I cried hearing Phil. Yeah, because there was that day when I was there in Tallahassee. It was the Friday after the charge conference had just ended. So I went back to the courthouse, and lo and behold, everybody was gone already because the charge conference was pretty quick. So I was like, oh, this stinks. So I was just like standing around in a hallway, probably surfing my phone.
Right.
And suddenly I saw Dan's father coming toward me, and I didn't know what to say because, I didn't know if he's all like feeling stressed out and miserable and stuff. And I just said hello, and he was just so friendly, very nice. He was happy to talk, because sometimes you just don't know. It's like people are very stressed out usually during these types of trials. So
of course.
So it was nice to meet him and talk with him, as well as Shelley and Ruth Markel.
Right.
You get a sense of what kind of person Dan was.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I remember in a video, Carl Steinbeck recounted how, I believe it was the night before the jury was going to begin deliberation. And he said that he was with Mr. Markel and he just seemed like he didn't have much faith in the jury. And Carl Steinbeck told him, you don't need to worry. There's going to be a conviction tomorrow. And he was right. Yeah. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So it was just really nice to see such a large community of people just drawn to the case and wanting to support Dan's family there.
And did you happen to see Wendy's friend that was there? Like,
I didn't. I wasn't there. Yeah, I
mean,
wasn't there yet, but that was like the most hilarious photo with this like
man,
pit bull
yes.
and
Yeah. It
really
was like the
mad look on
scowl.
her face.
I mean, she could not look any more pissed off.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow. Who is that person?
I have
What
no
the hell is
idea.
her reality?
Yeah, I don't know who that person is, but she
Man.
obviously hasn't been reading up on the case. If she's still supporting the
I don't know who
Adelsons.
took that picture, but that picture is just.
Oh, I think it was like a real
Oh,
photographer
okay.
from a newspaper or something who went up
Okay.
to take the picture and got that snarly pit bull face
Ooh,
from that
man.
woman.
Someone referred to her
With
as,
Wendi kind of hiding a little. Yeah.
I think someone's referred to her as an ogre, maybe.
Yeah, or just like pit bull. Yeah, so, like a guard dog or something. So,
Yeah, that was her purpose, I guess, a guard dog.
yeah.
I'm not
But,
going to call somebody a dog, but
oh, okay. Yeah, but she definitely looked really pissed and protective of
yes,
Wendi.
very
So,
pissed.
okay, so she
Just
deserves
out
some
of
criticism.
patience.
Yeah. But getting back to this thing about Ruth and Phil Markel, they're going to be guests on Surviving the Survivor
Oh, great.
tomorrow at 5:30. So,
Duly noted.
something else for us to watch tomorrow. So
Yes.
that'll be nice because I don't think Phil has been on any shows, has he? Besides like one of the old specials from a long time ago. I don't
Maybe
recall
like,
him.
maybe one of the like big, maybe like Court TV or something may have had him on years ago. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know because usually it's just Dan's mom who's been, going around talking to the media.
Mhm.
The Toronto Sun actually had an article recently where Shelley was interviewed. So I thought that was really nice because it was the first time I had heard her in a news article
Right.
about how it's affected her family.
Meanwhile,
So,
she looks so much like Dan. I mean,
mhm,
honestly, she looks so similar to him. I can't help but
mhm.
see it every time.
Yeah, yeah. She did mention that long time ago, right? That people would tell her that she sort of looked like her brother and she didn't really see it. But
Oh, wow. I didn't hear her say that.
yeah, I think maybe she mentioned that at the sentencing hearing perhaps last year.
Okay.
I can't remember. Yeah, but it was a very sad speech that she gave at that sentencing hearing.
How
Talking.
awesome was it after the verdict was read
Mhm.
and Georgia, I believe, asked Judge Everett about the victim impact statements. And he was like, you can ask them if they want to do it now. And just the triumphant way Georgia
Mhm.
Campbellman just turned around and walked up to the Markels and just leaned down and was like, what do you want to do? You want to do the impact statements now? Or I just thought that was just so triumphant, her just being able to turn around and just be like, what now? What do you guys want to do? We
Mhm.
got victory. I love it.
Yeah, yeah, it was great to see them,
Mhm.
smiling and looking satisfied. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay. Well, I'm scrolling through to see if people have any questions or whatever. Otherwise, maybe we can just go ahead and show. Oh, can Wendi refuse to testify? Yeah, I think once again they would give her that same narrow, what do they call it, derivative use
Right.
immunity again,
Right.
because they still like my prosecutor friend said, you need Wendi there to lay the
Hmm.
foundation and the background of this whole case and stuff. So I think she probably would still have to testify again.
Yep. She still has
Yeah,
a role to play before
yeah,
they turn all their attention to her.
yeah. Okay. So let's see. Okay. Yeah. Thank you guys for caring and tuning
Thank you
in.
for listening and watching for sure.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And hope you guys support Dawn Taquisto's channel. Also, she's been making some great short videos and
Yes.
also reacting to
Mhm.
testimony. Okay. Oh, curious to know, what was Wendi reading when Georgia plopped that binder up there for her to refresh? Huh. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I thought the binder was full of all the divorce and custody case filings.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what else was put in front of her. Yeah. Wendi is almost as smart as my ex-husband. No, Wendi is not as smart as my ex-husband. Okay. My ex-husband was actually a Rhodes Scholar. Rhodes Scholar, had a PhD or has a PhD from King's College. Well, I shouldn't say too much because then people will track him down and harass him. Oh, but the funny thing is that my ex-husband actually has seen some of my YouTube videos, and he thought it was really funny because he saw that skit I did with Mentor Lawyer, and he saw my goofy singing.
Yeah, how could you not love them? They're all good. Very good.
Yeah. So I told Mentor Lawyer, even my ex-husband who reads Prof's blog enjoyed that skit we did where Sigfredo was reading Prof's blog.
Yeah. It's so the least likely scenario ever.
Yeah. So it makes me laugh thinking about it when Rashbaum gave that opening statement, and then Wendi was like, "Yes, like Dan would write about his travel plans on his blog and on Facebook." Yeah.
Right. Yes, Sigfredo is spending all his free time browsing the FSU law professor's very random blogs.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay, sorry, I can't address every single comment, but really appreciate y'all. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. You're right. It was the divorce binder. Wendi looked so scared up there speed reading. Well, that's what she deserves, right? Yeah. Put her in the hot seat. Yeah. Oh, I feel like I need to make a short video about that too, because that was also one of the funny, remarkable moments was when Luis was like, Wendi was the blog, or the blonde was Wendi. He thought Georgia was asking about the blonde after she kept talking about a blog.
Yeah, I love it.
You find out from a blog? No, the blonde was Wendi. Yeah. So, okay, cool. So let me show this thing. Feel free to say more. I don't want to feel like I'm commandeering the whole show. So. I think people are just excited also to see someone different and get your point of view, since you're crime buff and you're in Florida.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, it is just so surreal to think that they're both in the same prison right now, and they both were so joined at the, what do they call it? What do you clip when you're born? The
joined at the hip.
Yeah,
umbilical cord?
Yeah, they're still attached. All these years still attached at the umbilical cord, talking to each other for hours every day, just constantly comforting each other, and her narcissism and just feeding off of each other. And now suddenly it's over.
Yeah.
And yet not only is it suddenly over, yet they're, how far apart they are from each other is the closest it has been since he's been arrested. I don't think she went up there and actually visited him, but they're both just sitting in that jail cell. And, I got to say, I love it. I really love it. It's just such torture for them that you couldn't ask for a better constructed karma for them than what's happening right now, that they're both just have to sit there day in and day out for 24 hours a day, knowing they're in that same vicinity, and they won't be able to touch. Do you think they'll ever be able to talk to each other again?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
Well, I mean, Donna is not even supposed to talk to any witnesses. People mentioned in her probable cause affidavit. So that means she shouldn't be able to even talk to Harvey or Wendi.
Such perfect justice.
But as people noted, they were like, well, how come Charlie was still able to take all these phone calls from Donna, though?
And be on, he was just hanging on the phone all day.
Yeah. So who knows? But ultimately, that still got more good evidence against Donna because she was so stupid blabbing on the phone calls about running off to Vietnam, allegedly.
There's got to be, it's almost like in subconscious part of her wanted to be caught. I don't know.
Yeah, I think after a while she couldn't help herself because she was so stressed out, and she figured after all this, year and a half, nothing has happened to her, so she might as well just talk to them because nobody's really listening. She thought,
And I wonder what the percentage chance they'll flip on Wendi, because every single one of those wiretaps, they just talk her down nonstop, and Donna's like, "Don't get me started on everything I've done for her." And, that she's basically suggesting that she's not grateful for a damn thing she's ever been given. and that she was given everything, with a silver spoon. And now they're both sitting in jail rotting. If she had any involvement, I don't know. I used to not think he would ever turn on her, but I'm starting to think that it wouldn't surprise me if he does. Because, obviously he likes or loves Donna more than Wendi. He wasn't calling Wendi 100 times.
Yeah, but I don't think it can work that way, though, because if he wants to make a deal, which I don't think he will, if he wants to make a deal, he would have to tell 100% the whole truth. And there's already tons and tons of evidence against Donna, to the point where Donna's already been arrested finally. So he can't just cherry pick and say, well, I'm going to blame it all on Wendi. Let me tell you all about what Wendi did.
Right.
But my mom had nothing to do with it. That wouldn't be credible.
For sure.
I'm sure it's not going to work out that way, where he can only, tell the prosecutors to go after Wendi, but save the mom.
Right. Well, maybe Donna gets so pissed off that she tells them that she wants to talk about Wendi. I don't know. Maybe she'll make up something about Wendi.
So that's her precious daughter. And if she still loves her grandkids, Dan and Wendy's kids, then.
Oh, she's such a psycho. Does she even love anything but her own control over people?
Yeah. Well, she probably still wants to salvage whatever love those grandchildren might still have for her at this point. But
that's so over.
Yeah, I would hope so. But these poor kids, that's all they've known is, grandma taking care of them all the time. So it is kind of hard to get these kids in general to suddenly turn against someone that they see.
This is a day and age of technology. It has to be just a matter of time before those kids just open up the 10,000 YouTube videos that have been created in such full detail about how guilty Wendi is.
Yeah, and they're smart. I'm sure they know how to use the computer, so they'll find out. Yeah. So, let me see. Okay, so let's play this. I'll enlarge it and just play a clip of where John. No, his name is Luis Baptiste. He's the one who's law partners with Stephen Webster, and he talks about being a student of Dan's. Okay, so I'll go ahead and play this.
What is it? When did you meet him? How did you meet him?
And so, Luis Baptiste, I'm blessed to be here.
Oops, sorry. I had it played too fast. Okay. So he's a law partner now.
And outside of God, the reason I'm here practicing as a lawyer with my law partner, Stephen G. Webster, is because of Dan Markel. Solely because of Dan Markel am I sitting in this seat today. Dan Markel was my law professor. I was a part of the last class that he taught before his death. And so he taught me in the spring of 2014. And of course, we know that he was killed just, in the beginning of the summer. And so in his class, Dan Markel, first, every time I talk about him, I tell everybody that he loved his sons. And that matters so much because he taught 1L criminal law, which is a tough class. It's where law students are introduced to legal principles, murder, first-degree murder, second-degree murder. The exact issues that we're dealing with today on the show is what Dan Markel taught us as students. And yet and still, even though it was a class about murder and violence, he still talked about his sons. I know their names, and I know what their nicknames for him because he used them in class all the time. And at the law school, he had all the law professors had their accolades on their doors, their degrees, their law review published articles, but not Professor Markel's door. His door was full of his kids' drawings and what a stranger might think is scribble scrabble, but to him, it was better than Picasso. And so that's the kind of father he was, and his kids were a priority. But essentially, Webster starts representing Dan. And he asks him, he says, look, Webster tells him, I'm looking for a law student, just started my firm. I need to go get her. And he recommended me. And it's funny enough, because I didn't even think we liked each other. We disagreed about theories of punishment a lot. I believe in utilitarianism, which argues that you should only be punished to the extent you can be corrected and nothing more. And so obviously everyone knows that he was a retributive justice scholar. articles published worldwide on that subject. And so we often in class went back and forth, and I would raise my hand and he would not call on me, and I would keep it up like, no, you're going to call on me. And so and 2 weeks later, in the middle of the summer, I get a call and I get hired. And now that was, approaching 10 years ago. Next year, that'll be 10 years, all because of Professor Markel. I remember the last time I saw him was probably the first week of the last week of June was probably when I saw him, and he was walking around the law school. He had on strapped sandals, and I ran up to him and said, "Thank you." He's like, "It's the least I could do," and that's the last time I saw him was in the patio area of the law school, saying that's the least I can do, and that I didn't know him many things, that he only did whatever he could, what he would do for any other student, and obviously what he did changed my life.
Tree topping and average.
Okay. So, you're muted. You're muted.
Yes. Changed his life. That's a great quote. He changed my life. And, he wasn't just catering to him. It obviously made it hard for him, kind of not making it easy, pushing him to do better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was great to hear these words from Stephen Webster at the trial, and also on SDS, and then Louis Baptiste remembering Dan. So,
how many people have remembered him in a positive light? Honestly, it's probably well over 100.
Yeah. And you and I read tons of those messages in previous live stream shows.
Right. Seemingly endless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it does annoy me because once in a blue moon, you do see these very nasty messages from people just saying, like one guy said, "Oh, I actually knew the guy. This guy, he was so arrogant. He was a real jerk." Or, if he hadn't been so mean to Wendi, you guys are just, deifying him because he's deceased or whatever. I'm like, well, who is this person? And are you such a mean-spirited person that you have to go on YouTube to write nasty things about somebody who is a murder victim?
The answer to that question is yes.
Yeah. It's just really sad because, overwhelmingly, there were plenty of people who truly loved Dan and respected him. And even if they had differences of opinion, they still liked him and there was mutual respect. So
and yet, and in every single time that Wendi has taken the stand, the little ways that she minimizes the way he's referred to, like I think Chris DeCoste said, Dan Markel was a great father, and she corrects him and says, good. He was a good father. Come on, Wendi, really? Are you that angry and petty? Like, enough is enough with your annoying little endless comments. Oh, she's so unlikable. I hope we can at least get her arrested.
Yeah.
And get her butt in jail, and let's see some charges.
Yeah. Because even okay, so again, I'm mixing up the attorneys. I think it was either John Singer tonight or Tim Jansen who said for perjury in a murder type of case, the person could potentially face up to 15 years in prison. So, of course, there was some other show where Tim had said in his 30 years of practicing, he had never seen anybody prosecuted for perjury. And so, what do I know? I don't know if she's going to be prosecuted for perjury or, ideally, I would like it to be for murder or conspiracy. But, 15 years for perjury sounds pretty okay too.
That sounds pretty juicy.
Zero jail time.
There's a first time for everything. Maybe it's time that somebody gets charged for perjury in Tallahassee. This whole case is unlike anything I think any of us have seen anytime recently. The level of involvement with his family and all the damn layers of their involvement. My God. Props to the state and everyone for being able to peel back all these layers of the onion to get all the arrests we've had so far.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's already been over an hour and a half, so I do have to get going. Thank you so much.
Thank
Remy.
you. And thank everyone for watching us.
Yeah, it did take us some time because both Remy and I had to keep rewatching and listening to that whole recording repeatedly so we could make sure we had the proper punctuation and emphasis on the different words and stuff.
I hope we nailed it.
Yeah, I think most people enjoyed it. People who don't like the reenactments and stuff, most of them already unsubscribed from me anyway a long time ago.
Good
So,
riddance. And sorry
yeah.
for cursing at you. It felt
No,
weird.
that's okay. You're being authentic. You were trying to sound like a Latin king brother, right? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So hope
Yes, thank
everybody has
you.
a great Thanksgiving and
Safe.
Yeah, and I know Deep Dive True Crime, he might have postponed his premiere, but maybe it already happened. So I gotta watch it tonight to support him too.
Yes.
Surviving the Survivors.
Oh, yeah.
Ruth and Phil Markel on tomorrow at 5:30 Eastern. So be sure to tune in, support all the great channels that have been spotlighting this case.
I love them. All so good. Such high quality content, yours included. So thank you.
Thank you.
For so much good content.
Yeah. Okay. Have a great Thanksgiving then.
You too. Be safe.
Take care. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.